All right, so thanks, Pete and Gina. Now in our next session about making AI strategy tangible, we're here with Ana Jimenez Castellanos. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes.
She's a business development specialist working at AWS. She also is an advisor in data and AI strategy. And we want to know a little bit more about you, about how you got to where you are. Let me rephrase that. What got you interested in data and AI, and how is it that this domain drawn you in?
Well, I think that working in the world of data was an absolute coincidence. No, when I was 18 and I had to decide what to study, like everybody, no, I only knew that I like two things. First of all, understanding the world, and the other is to solve problems. Richard Feynman, the Nobel Prize in Physics, said that to not know mathematics was a severe limitation to understand the world. And I suppose that I intuited this when I was a child, and I love mathematics because somehow it's the only scientific method to understand the world, no? So that's why I studied an engineering full of mathematics and methods to build solutions for multiple problems, which is computer engineer. And it was during my degree where I learned about the world of artificial intelligence. No, it was a complete something new for me. No, through subjects such as logic or expert systems and programming languages such as Haskell or Prolog. And after university, I decided to study a master in artificial intelligence research almost 20 years ago. And since then, I always work in AI, in different roles, as a researcher, as data scientist, as product manager, as technical manager, co-founder of my own company, which was acquired by a Big Four, by EY, as head of advanced analytics, business development manager, even as a professor, but always dealing with data and AI.
Right, and now moving through these different roles, like you talk about technical management, product analytics, founder. How has the way you think about data changed? Like, I'm guessing, and just to clarify the question, when you look at data as an analyst, you're looking at methods. When you're looking at that as a founder, you're looking at the value or what are you selling. When you're looking at the product side, you're looking at usability or something else. I don't know, but how has your progression about thinking about data changed through these roles?
It is a very, very good question. It has even philosophical nuances, about what the word data means. And it's because the word data is often used in many different contexts to refer to many different concepts. I used to explain this in my classes by using the knowledge pyramid or the DIKW pyramid. I know you are aware of it, data, information, knowledge, wisdom. In this pyramid, we have the data in the base. Data is considered symbols or signs or observations representing facts or signals, which are not useful, not really useful until they are in an usable or relevant form. Let's say Milan Seleni, a Czech and American economist, said that this unusable characteristic of the data was the knowing nothing. And when we talk about big data, we have millions, trillions of knowing nothing symbols. So to find value in data, we have to transform it into information, knowledge, and wisdom, and going up in the pyramid. To find value in the data at the end, we need to apply many different algorithms. How are we going to go up into the pyramid? By solving problems based on the analysis of the data using statistical techniques or logic or artificial intelligence or generative AI or whatever. So about your questions, it makes sense, because we can think that a person who works with databases, if we ask her about her data, she will consider that we are talking about each one of the observations that are stored in each one of the cells of the SQL. However, if we ask a business analyst about her data, probably she will refer to her analysis. And if we ask to a business person about her data, she will probably refer to the result of having analyzed tons of data. But they are using the same word, data. So for all this, the word data acquires different meanings depending on the role that is using it, and will also use different processes to analyze it and obtain value from it. And for this reason, among other, it's very important in companies to implement a data culture that raises awareness of the different meanings of data, the data world.
Right, and you're touching on a very interesting point, which is data can mean many different things. And going back to the session and talking about strategy, which is another loaded word that can mean many things, how do you combine these two? What does strategy mean to you when we are talking about data and AI, like within this domain?
Well, strategy can mean many different things, but at the end, a strategy is a plan to achieve an objective. Simple, no? So not so simple, but the definition is simple. So, but in my opinion, an AI strategy is the one that plans the necessary resources to efficiently deploy a series of use cases based on artificial intelligence. No, and when I say efficient, I mean efficiently use the resources at our disposals. And these resources used to be data, technology, yes, but also humans. So to create an AI strategy, in my opinion, there are at least 4 ingredients that must be taken into account. The first of all is the business impact. Everything must be born from the business, from the objectives that we want to achieve. And every company should decide if they are going to improve the engagement with their customers by personalizing their campaigns, or if they are going to detect fraud, or they are going to make a sales forecast to optimize their resources, or if they are going to carry out the predictive maintenance of the machines, or evaluate the quality of their products, or if they are going to provide internal tools to optimize the productivity of the legal area and to generate code. No? Companies must take the decision of which use cases they are going to implement and in what order. This is super important. And from here, the rest of the ingredients will be data governance and management, the selection of the right tools to create the AI platform, and the data and AI culture and change management. The 4 ingredients are super relevant, and they must advance in parallel if we don't want our artificial intelligence strategy to become a proof of concept stored in a drawer. No, I would like to comment here that from AWS we have different resources, services, and programs to help companies to solve the different challenges associated, which is one of these 4 pillars.
Right, and talking about the 4 ingredients and kind of the right way to do it, I want to flip it a little bit. And can you mention some of the big no-nos when people think about AI? I mean, you mentioned it shouldn't be just POCs, one after the other. What are some other big no-nos?
Yeah, this is important because at the end, there are many companies dealing with the 4 pillars separately or isolatedly, no? And there are several significant pitfalls to avoid. For instance, the lack of clear objectives is the first one, no? Since if we deploy AI without well-defined goals, it will surely result in waste resources and unclear benefits, no? Another pitfall is the failure to integrate with business strategy. I have had many conversations with companies thinking in AI strategy as technical strategy, no? And they failure to integrate it with the business strategy is very important, because treating AI as a separate initiative rather than integrating it with the overall business strategy can limit its impact at the end. Mm-hmm. Also, what I used to call the Frankenstein, or those companies neglecting scalability and maintenance. No, I have seen many companies designing AI systems without considering the future scalability or the ongoing maintenance of this resulted. And this resulted in any significant long-term challenges. No, and talking about maintenance is also relevant to think in the long term and continuously monitor and evaluate AI system, because the data will change, no, and the AI results will change. And we have to prevent the detection of errors and improve the outcomes continuously. More pitfalls: the underestimating the data quality and the quantity. Many people used to say, we have tons of data, no? But insufficient or poor quality data can lead to inaccurate models and unreliable outcomes. And it's important for companies to invest in robust data management practices. Also, missing companies don't think in change management. Because failing to prepare your organization for the changes that AI will bring can lead into resistance and implementation issues. And the companies really needs, it's something that I am starting to see in companies, and the companies really need a plan for train, communicate, and integrate AI into the existing workflows. And the last but not least, ignoring ethical and privacy concerns. No, we have seen many news, many scandals in the news about AI, and neglecting ethical implications and privacy issues can lead to public backlash, regulatory penalties, and at the end, loss of trust from our customers. So companies must ensure that their AI applications are transparent, fair, and respect the user privacy.
Right, thank you. Now, some of those pillars that you've been mentioning are very wide at the, let's say, corporate level, like talking about the Frankenstein, or talking about the change management, or talking about integrating with the business strategy. Now, one that it's easier, and I'm going to make my job easier now, is to go a little bit deeper on how do businesses kind of find the objectives? How do they find the use cases? How do they define them? And in this tonic of what are the mistakes that companies can make, what are the most or the biggest mistakes that you see when companies are trying to understand and define the use cases?
I have had a lot of conversation with CTOs, CIOs in the conversation that are asking me what is the use case that they have to implement. No, of course, everybody wants to be inspired by the trends of the market, but the problem is that many times they don't have the internal mechanisms to discover those use cases by themselves. No, so I've seen many, not mistakes, no, but many challenges in the companies when I have been working with them. First of all, they are not looking at the long term to prepare the technology to allow real-time value. They are looking just at the use case, and that could be a problem because what I have said about the Frankenstein. The other about this creation of the use cases, it's not creating these internal processes to discover and prioritize use cases, because at the end you can discover use cases from many different areas in your organization, but you have to prioritize them based on the business impact, based on the technical feasibility, the data availability, and so on. No? So all the organization has to be involved to prioritize those use cases. Also, I've seen many organizations that is not giving real value to technology, to technological areas. And this is something that is completely changing the landscape in the companies. No, I'm seeing CTOs and CIOs empowering themselves and belonging to the board, let's say, no, and taking decision together with business. And this is something that is changing completely nowadays. Another mistake, and this is probably a real mistake, no, is that I have seen companies setting unrealistic expectations about what AI can achieve, no, leading to disappointment or skepticism. But at the end, we all know that there's a lack of AI profiles in the market, no? And I'm not talking only about technical roles or data scientists, but also hybrid roles or orchestrators in the companies, no? This lack of expertise and maturity in the market many times carries all these mistakes or these challenges that are finally learned in the hard way. No, finally you will learn, but in the hard way, no? And also can derail AI projects. So one of my advices here would be for companies should invest in hiring or training staff with the necessary AI skills, no, and look for experts in the market such as Globant or AWS who can accompany them and advise them along the way, avoiding the hard way, let's say.
All right. Now, you mentioned something that I want to go a little bit deeper, which is about having technology sitting at the board or driving decisions. And maybe coming from a technology company, that seems weird. But if you see more traditional companies, it makes sense. Though you could make the argument that through the digital transformation, they all should be behaving like technology companies. So the question is, are you seeing that change or like AI data analytics being driven by technology, or are they being kind of let in because the different areas within these companies, the different value drivers are seeing that without that, they're losing competitivity?
No, I'm seeing different strategies to leverage AI. No, but first of all, to develop a clear AI strategy to align the different AI initiatives with business goals and create a roadmap that outlines the objectives, the KPIs, and the milestones is something that has to involve everything in organizations, no, and also invest in data infrastructure and avoid silos. No, I'm going to talk about the different things that companies can do to leverage their AI strategy. But the things where I have seen the companies that are having successful AI strategy, let's say, is when they have the different pillars set. No, they have all the culture in the companies. They have the different mechanisms to align by themselves in between business, technology, human resources, legal, no, all the areas involved in the organization, because AI need those areas to arise. But also they have a data platform created, and they have to invest in data infrastructure and avoid data silos. No, if we could look into the future just 1 year, probably next summer we will be talking about how to ensure real-time inference. No, we will not be talking about the model anymore, but we will be talking about real-time inferences. And for that future, we need to prepare our data today, because next year will be late. No, we have to invest in robust and agile data collection, storage, management system, etc., and ensure the data is clean, relevant, and accessible. This is the other pillar. And the last one is the technology, no, the Frankenstein. No, about technology, companies must design AI systems with scalability in mind. No, choose technologies and architectures that can grow with your business and handle increasing data volumes and complexity, no, because data is going to change.
Yeah. All right. Now, we've been talking about mistakes. Not making mistakes is not the same thing as doing the right thing, though it helps a lot. And you've been mentioning a lot of things that companies should do within the pillars, within the data platforms, within the silos, the hiring the people. Now, if there's one thing that companies should be doing to leverage AI the most, what would be the first part? Even though it goes a little bit against your Frankenstein, because you're saying, well, if you don't do everything coordinated, you're part of the problem, but you have to start somewhere. What is that place the company should be starting on?
From the business problem. The business problem is the first thing, because the business, I have seen many companies trying to organize by themselves in different isolated initiatives, but when they have a problem to solve, everything will come. No, the problem that you want to solve gives you the objectives, gives you the direction, no, to build the road. If you don't have an objective, you will not have the road. So, from my opinion, the business objective is the most important thing.
All right, and now taking into account that a lot of our viewers will be people getting into this domain and trying to work out their careers and understand what is the landscape. one of your roles is as business development. Can you explain or clarify what that means?
Yeah, in my organization in AWS, my role is halfway between the cloud services provided by AWS, more than 200 in different areas such as storage, analytics, security, IoT, or AI, where there are more than 30. So my role is halfway between the cloud services and the customers. And currently my area of action is Southern Europe, is Spain, Portugal, and Italy, public and commercial sector with companies of all types of industries, sizes, levels of technological and AI maturity, etc. So it's amazing. No? And internally in AWS, we have many more areas. We have partners, professional services, prototyping areas to support our customers. And my role has a business perspective, but I work closely with solution architects specialized in AI and Gen AI. And my job consists, on the one hand, of listening to customers, understanding their needs in order to offer or to create the puzzle of technological, strategic, or cultural solutions that they may need, following the Amazon leadership principle of customer obsession. And on the other hand, I analyze the market trends, not only from my conversation with customers, but also keeping up to date, which is something tremendously complicated nowadays in this field. And these trends, needs, or insight that I discover in the market help other parts of the organization in AWS to improve our services. So more or less, this is my role. I do many other things, but that's the heart, let's say.
Okay, and within that role or past roles or other roles within your career, what is the quirkiest case you've seen a client interested in? I mean, could be, don't need to mention region or client, obviously, but it could be a good example about the don't go there, or like this is really disruptive, or this was a really interesting case.
I hear a lot of ideas from customers, and I know that they are the experts in their business, no? And I am hesitant to judge if a use case is strange or not. So I think it would be a very brother-in-law opinion, let's say, no? Since I cannot consider myself an expert in all the business domains or segments that I manage. What I do is to try to understand my customers' objectives very well and use my area of expertise, which is AI, and the place where I work, which is AWS, where I have access to domain experts, both internally and from partners. And with that cocktail, I provide the best possible solution. But in my work, where I speak to companies of many different sizes, industries, AI maturity levels, I'm really always learning from new things from my customers. It's amazing. Now, on many occasions, they are the ones who innovate and show challenge that I had not here before. We have to take into account that with AI and Gen AI is full of problems that have never been solved before. And this is amazing. It's amazing to see how customers are innovating through AWS services, how they are speeding up their organization through a well-oiled and data and AI strategy. It's really amazing. But to say something about use cases, really transformative, I can remember one of the cases that has caught my attention lately is the so-called text to SQL. Or the creation of an interface that allows business users without programming knowledge to recover data from databases simply by doing a query in natural language. And this use case is really, really interesting as it is freeing many data analysts from tasks they had to do for others in the organizations where they were simply retrieving data. No? Now, with this text to SQL, they may be providing more value to the organization because they have more time. No? Another peculiar use case that I have faced lately is the migration of code from old version of Java or COBOL, for instance, to more modern versions of Java, in this case. And this could be performing a tremendous cleanup of the code and making it more efficient, which is really, really interesting. Yeah.
Right. And Now, turning our side from the client and kind of the outside world into internal and kind of the teams you work with, what are the skills that you value the most in these teams when you're talking about data and AI?
As we have been talking, knowing about AI has become a very extensive area, no? From the most technical perspective to the business perspective, including algorithms, data management, etc. And of course, I really value having people on my team who deeply know their area of expertise, no? Each one of their area of expertise. But as we have said, there are many roles involved when we work with AI. So it can be a bit of a Tower of Babel, now with many different profiles, speaking different languages, having different objectives, a little bit of chaos, let's say, no? And for that reason, one of the skills that I value most in my team is teamwork. I really admire each of the people I work with who are really brilliant individually and professionally, but who have the ability to work together, to understand others, to be humble, to be collaborative, empathetic, and to learn from others to achieve a common goal. It's something I also see in companies I work with when I create with them their AI strategy. And I used to quote Tolkien here and say that there are companies that are trying to manage their AI strategy as if it was their ring of power, the Sauron's ring, you know, one ring to control everyone. However, because of the different roles involved in an AI strategy, this is not so much a Sauron's ring, but the fellowship of the ring, no? where the team works together to bring the ring to Mount Doom and destroy the ring. No? So in my opinion, that's a very a skill that I value a lot.
Great. Now, you mentioned several skills that are important, but thinking about someone that is just starting their career or the path within data and AI, what is one thing you would advise them to focus on? Is it something like mathematics, statistics, machine learning, programming, ML ops, data management, databases? Like, it's a big domain, as you said. What would be a good way to start that?
Well, you know, I have two kids of 7 and 10. They are too young, but it's something that I see now when I ask myself what to recommend them in the future in 10 years. Now, when they have to work and to study, to go to the university. Let's see if they go or not, because the world is changing every 2 months, I think. No, so well, it depends. It depends if in 10 years, not in 10 years, in 1-2 years, who won't work using artificial intelligence in the coming years? Nobody, probably. No, we already use it when we open our social media profiles and read the wall with a publication. It's the AI who organized that wall. It's also AI who is recommending series to us on Netflix, or is the AI who is also suggesting a route to reach our destination by car, no? However, now we are going to see that AI is also going to help us in our daily professional life. No, we need to create like a robotic arm, no, for ourselves, and this robotic arm will allow us to save time and be more efficient. In this sense, I can have my crystal ball, no, but lots of new professions will emerge around data. Only around data, experts in legal issues and AI, in cybersecurity and AI, very important topic, in data modeling, for instance, with these new formats of data going into the game, let's say. And there will be also an adaptation of the rest of the profiles. People needs to learn about how to use and control AI. No? So prompt engineering will be a skill as common as knowing how to use a text editor. Therefore, I will tell someone who is just starting out to start by knowing how AI works. What is AI? No, what is AI? What is generative AI? There are millions of online courses, no? The best known are those by Andrew and G, who, by the way, is now part of the Amazon board. But there are others. No, AWS has several courses also, including several to promote technology knowledge in girls and women, since we take into account that it's really, really important for the sustainability of this technology to have diverse profiles. And on the other hand, that people need to learn how to control artificial intelligence. No, so a simple prompt engineering course would help for that.
All right, thank you. And now, once they started, they focus on something, they are incorporating some skills. You'll see that there are different, let's say, maturity levels with arbitrary names. Like I'm gonna say, I don't know, AI literate, somebody that's being able to work with AI, maybe someone that's more fluent, and then someone that is really proficient. What makes the difference between these stages? How does someone jump from one to the other? In your view, what is the distinctive characteristic of somebody that is really mature and really sophisticated about dealing with AI?
Probably, as I have said, no, there are many different areas in AI. No, so probably when you are a proficient person in AI, it is when you have the ability to jump into the different areas and have different hats, let's say, to talk with the different profiles that are expert in that area, in that subset of knowledge, but you have the ability to jump into the different types of conversation and to manage everything. No, in my opinion, that would be the AI proficient person.
All right. And now, since we're running out of time, but I did want to have a curveball thrown at you. Let's talk about, well, LLMs being conscious, happening since Lambda and whatever. But there's another aspect, which is about creativity and whether things created with Gen AI are creative or is the people using them. And there's this sea of different opinions around that. So I want to know your perspective. Are LLMs or generative AI creative? Are people creative? And in which sense is that different?
Yeah, that's another philosophical question, no, about what creativity is. But well, creativity is the ability to create original, novel, and valuable ideas. This ability, we think now in this ability to think unconventionally and break the established patterns and find original solutions. No, but of course, human being, or I think, no, because this is a philosophical question. And first of all, we have to define what is creativity. But I think that human beings use inspiration to be creative, and that inspiration often comes from past learning and observation. And a year ago, I heard a phrase that was very, very illustrative to me. And someone said that artificial intelligence was like a very powerful rear view mirror. No, so artificial intelligence or generative AI had the ability to analyze millions of data and show you the statistics behind that data, no, in a proper way. No, nowadays with generative AI we can read the results of those analyses. No, and I thought it was a very good metaphor, because that's how it is. No, LLMs has the ability to answer questions by analyzing tons of data, and yes, AI is able to create a bug fugue, but AI is not bug. Bach is a creator. No, for me, this creativity is a philosophical question, but has also another philosophical question behind, which is the value that we as humans give to a content created by a human, or to a content created by our LLMs. No, so we don't have time, I think, to answer this
No, it's
question.
a very open-ended question, but it's an opportunity to start discussing these implications about Gen AI that might exceed the technical. So thank you for your perspective, and thank you for being here and for being part of this event. Thank you for your time. And now we're going to be going back to Pete and Gina. So see you all on the other side. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.